this is one of them videos, you know how like when you know something, like you've been knowing it and you going like, how come people are just now making it seem like they didn't know this? You know, this well, that's how a lot of these videos been over the past couple of weeks. But yeah, we about to get into this one right here that just had me like, oh wow. I didn't even know that over there they couldn't take DNA tests, you know, and I think it's in Israel, wherever it is. They can't take DNA tests because, you know, we gonna get into that right now. Let's go on and start it off with my boy Eugene from Kenya. Dang, I keep on forgetting. I don't know why I ain't been subscribed to his channel, but yeah, he be touching a lot of different crazy subjects. You feel me? It's so many lies, bro. In the world, so many lies that it's like, dang. But we know they're lies, and we still go along with them. But no talking. I'm gonna just run this one.
She would say the lived experience as a black person of racism is different, for example, from the racism that somebody like me who's a Jew would have experienced. Now, most people would say you should never say that there's a hierarchy of racism, and that the implication of what she said is that there's a hierarchy. I'm sure she would deny that that's what she meant, but that's what came across.
Let's get it.
But there is a hierarchy in racism. There's a racism that those of us who exist in skin that we can't hide experience. Then there is a prejudice that you experience as a Jewish person, but also being white. No one knows you're Jewish when you walk down the street. Not a single soul knows you're Jewish. And to the contrary, worldwide, especially in the UK and America, it benefits you in many circumstances to be a part of that community when it comes to financial sectors, entertainment sectors, in various arenas. Whereas me being a black man, I will always be black first. And then even worse, a black woman will always be black and a woman. So no white man, no white presenting male will ever experience the type of racism that any black woman would ever experience anywhere in the world.
We'll have to pay taxes. The whole concept is no taxation without. We have had a white male president. We've had like 45 of them.
Whether Jews count as white or not has been sort of an object of debate for quite a while. We do. Okay.
You do.
So, I mean, it depends according to whom, and that's a pretty recent development. Okay, so
basically everyone. It's a religion.
Judaism.
Do you not agree that you were a white man?
I mean, I think that it depends on the context in which you're discussing it.
Being black means you're a part of one of the most ostracized, oppressed, and hated communities in the world, while also being the center of the world's inspiration for culture, art, and expressionism. It's a wild dichotomy to live in, to see how everyone loves to emulate being black, no matter where you are, and being hated simultaneously. And that shows in various things, like in Europe, how they love to dress up as Africans, go to African festivals, and eat African food. To America, white people loving rap music, loving the food, loving the cookout, loving the dances, loving everything about various aspects of our culture, but then hating us at the same time. You will never experience that. And this is not me saying that Jewish people don't experience any type of hate, because they do, obviously, in this world. And historically, that's true. But in 2025, you will never experience racism like a black person will. And Jewish is not a race. It is a religion. And you are a white man of Eastern European descent who happens to be Jewish. Let's not conflate the two. This is how we're in the predicament we're in now.
The truth is, converts are ethnic Jews, and nobody outside of the tribe gets to tell anybody inside the tribe whether they're in the tribe or not, ethnically or religiously. Welcome back to your regularly scheduled monthly reminder that converts are ethnic Jews. Judaism is an ethno-religion. There are only a handful of ethno-religions in the world, Judaism being the most commonly known one. We are a closed practice. I converted to an entire tribe, to an entire community who said, yes, we recognize you from Mount Sinai. As a reminder, since you don't know, ethnicity, by definition, includes more than just DNA. Does it include DNA? Yes, absolutely. It also is defined by shared values, shared religion, shared language, shared traditions, shared customs, shared everything. I traded my entire life, how I pray, how I eat, what I eat, how I speak, the language I use, the holidays that I observe. I traded the entirety of my life for a life as a Jew. Everything that I do is informed by my Judaism. And my tribe looked at me and they said, yes, we recognize your soul from Mount Sinai. Welcome home. I am an ethnic Jew. And if you converted to Judaism, not you, Sarah, if you, anybody watching this, converted to Judaism and you came out of the mikveh, you are also an ethnic Jew because you are practicing our tribe's practices. And do not let anybody outside of our tribe tell you who you are. Am Yisrael.
You think I never said I was?
Where are you from?
That girl, get out of here. Look at this. Look, now listen to her.
Now, Israeli 365.
What the heck?
This man.
I hate when they do that.
I will never forget the first time I went to Israel and I stepped off the plane and the first thing that anyone said to me was, "Welcome home." I wasn't told welcome home because my ancestors were from Israel. I was told welcome home because I'm Jewish. Every single person who's Jewish that steps off the plane, especially for their first time in Israel, is told welcome home. Let's just sit with that for a second. This right here, this is my actual ancestry. I am 88% Ashkenazi Jewish, and none of my ancestors are from the Middle East. Zionist ideals and beliefs are far more based in colonization, imperialism, and just white supremacy culture than it is in truth and history and ancestry. The land that is called Israel now is not my home. It's not my ancestors' home. It's Palestinian.
Exactly.
This man's DNA proves this about Jewish people.
We Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua.
Who is we? No, really, who is we? You live in Israel, so I don't expect you to be able to provide genetic or ancestral receipts for your claims about us Jews, because those kinds of receipts are illegal in Israel without a court order and other special permissions. The Jerusalem Post explains such a thing cannot exist as kits sold directly to the public, going on to say that they have possible effects on subjects and their families. Furthermore, the national implications of these tests could hold or affect, nice grammar Jerusalem Post, could hold or affect Israel being a government-recognized Jewish state. Don't you just love when they say the quiet parts out loud? But since they won't let you get receipts for us Jews, I brought my own. Wow. So I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. And yet Israel still claims it's my homeland, which I could move to and become a citizen of under the ironically named Law of Return.
Go to IsraeliteBot.com.
That's wow. Look, the same, if you see it, this is the same story happening here. It's the same shit.
Now, Israeli 365 News has also reported, and I like this, that DNA testing has been done over the past few years, and it was successful in identifying a segment of the Jewish population today that carries the priestly lineage going all the way back to Aaron. Now, I'm not sure how they do it, but I'm not a biologist, I'm a pastor, but I'll just take their word for it that they've been able to find some way to be able to identify this priestly lineage. You know, in the past few years, again, according to a number of sources, all of the implements necessary for a temple sacrifices to resume have been prepared and set aside. So, for example, the dishes, the candles, the menorah, the robes for the priest, the table of showbread that holds the 12 loaves of bread representing the 12 tribes of Israel, the golden wash basin that is used by the priests. Everything has been prepared. All that's needed is the temple and the actual sacrificial animals. Now, some find this idea of a third temple to be extremely interesting. And it's interesting for two different groups for two completely different reasons. For the Jews, that's the first group, they've been without a temple, as you know, since 70 AD. As a result, their religion has actually changed from a religion that was based on a sacrificial atonement to a memorial. The Seder of Passover dinner, for example, if you've attended a Seder in the past or have read up on it, our church used to do a Seder every year, what we called What's a Seder, just to give people an idea about what the Seder was all about. The Seder, for example, is a memorial primarily recounting the story of Exodus, but it also has a few interesting items that are on the Passover plate. So, for example, the two items that in particular is a roasted egg and a shank bone. Now, the roasted egg represents, in fact, they both represent the old temple and the sacrificial system. And remember, the temple was actually sacked and burned by the Romans under a general named Titus in 70 AD.
Yeah.
And this was the Passover service that became the Seder. Now, many Gentiles are unaware that the one dish that cannot be served at the Seder, which is a Passover meal, is lamb. And the reason for that is because the lamb was sacrificed at the temple, and there is no temple, therefore no lamb. Now, they can have lamb any other day, but not for the Passover. So now,
you didn't know the Israelis are imposters? Watch this.
Most Jewish people have no Palestinian DNA in them.
Semitic denotes people who come from the Semitic region. The Semitic region is the Arab, the Holy Land, and those areas there. The Semitic languages are Arabic and Hebrew. The people who call themselves Jews but are not, as Jesus said, they did not speak Hebrew. They spoke Yiddish. They have no blood ties to the Holy Land. That is why they've outlawed DNA testing in Israel. They actually come from Eastern Europe and Khazaria and that region out there, and they converted to Judaism many centuries ago.
Let's go inside the book, Who is Esau Edom by Charles Weisman. This is page 8. We thus find that in the years just before the time of Christ, Judea was controlled by an Edomite faction who usurped the Judite name, land, and heritage. Historically, the Edomites became known as Jews, a term derived from Judea, which was derived from the name Judah, being the royal line of Israel, though they were never of Judah or Israel. Yep, those are fakes. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. They are the synagogue of Satan.
It's a crime. You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel.
Really? Show me the statute.
Some shady shit has been going on with my Ancestry DNA results. I've got to show you how they've been changing over time. When I first did the test, my results told me 45% Levant, which makes sense because I am Palestinian. And when I broke down my results, my dad contributed 25% of that Levant DNA. I also got my dad tested and his results had 50% Levant. Fast forward to now, they've updated their database again, which is in theory supposed to make your results more accurate. They're telling me that I'm now only 21% Levant and that my dad is contributing 0% Levant to my DNA. They've changed him from 50% to 22% Levant. And suddenly he's got all of this extra Arabian Peninsula in him, which is quite fitting because when you hear Zionists spew propaganda, they love to say that Palestinians are not native to the land and that we all are Arabs that came from the Arabian Peninsula. Ancestry DNA is owned by Blackstone. And who's calling the shots at Blackstone? This guy, Steven Schwarzman. Wow. And he just so happens to credit a trip to Israel for inspiring his entrepreneurial spirit. He's also the kind of guy that will spend money to push his agenda. In this article by the New York Post, they talk about how he was said to be using both his clout and very thick wallet to fund a counteroffensive to the anti-Israel protests at Yale. Thankfully, I wasn't using Ancestry DNA to learn about my ethnicity. I already know I'm fucking Palestinian. I use them to get a DNA file that I could upload onto other websites and learn about my ancient ancestry. From all the way back to the Bronze Age, my DNA ties me to the land of Palestine and the Levant more than anywhere else in the world. Canaanites are my number one match for the Bronze Age, then Phoenicians in the Iron Age, then the Levant again during late antiquity, and then again during the Middle Ages. And when you look at my dad's results, he scores even higher for the Levant. So fuck Ancestry and their bullshit results. I've officially deleted my DNA and my dad's DNA from their website. Those bastards are not going to have my info anymore. Lord knows what they're doing with our DNA results anyway.
So as I've mentioned before, I don't enjoy being told what to do, but I do appreciate accuracy and thoroughness. So I got my DNA tested through my family tree DNA. And this is where your girl is from. Very much lines up with my initial results. There are some differences, but they're marginal. There's also some Yemenite Jew in there, so we are well over the 50% mark here. You are correct, Shelley. Anyhoozle, do with that what you will. There's a lot of Levant in there. That's all I gotta say.
You're not allowed to have a DNA test in Israel. There are Chinese Jews. I've met them. There are Vietnamese Jews. I've met them. They're not native to the land of Palestine. There are African Jews. They're not native to the land of Palestine either. There are Ashkenazi Jews who are entirely European in their DNA. That's why you're not allowed to have a DNA test in Israel, because it will reveal that virtually none of them are Semitic. Virtually none of them have any ancestral connection to the land. I was viciously assaulted by a manager in the BBC who had recently converted to Judaism. It's fine. I love all religions. But you can't say I've now converted to Judaism and therefore I have a right to go to the land of Palestine and live in the house of someone whose ancestors have been living in it for thousands of years. Again, you're not allowed to have a DNA test.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about the A's. I was plugging in some numbers. I was looking at the family tree, you know, the biblical one. And I this is my guess as to kind of what went down. And you might see something interesting here. So the A's primarily descend from Japheth, who was born around 2913 BC. And then he has some sons, a bunch of them, Gomer, Magog. I've got a video on that. Now, Ashkenaz is the primary ancestor of the Ashkenazi. So their lineage from him starts around 2700 BC. Now, they were in this area. We're coming off the Ark. This is the Caucasus Mountains. I don't know, the Ark's here somewhere. Now we talk about them descending from Gomer. We're going to talk about Magog in half a second. The upper part's in red. That's going to be Gomer. And then you've got Magog. It's over here somewhere. Oh, my eyesight's not so good. At some point, these two end up blending together and then ending up in Germanic Europe.
That's what it was saying.
It's something to do with the Scythians and the Cimmerians. Anyways, long story short, for thousands of years, they're Japheth. But in around maybe, okay, so possibly the half-tribe of Manasseh, or both, I don't know, and later Ephraim or Manasseh, unsure, it's one of them, ends up in Germanic Europe. Roughly 930 BC, and definitely in 723 BC, when the Assyrians kicked out the last of the tribes, of the 10 tribes, you know. We fast forward to Jesus, and then we fast forward after his death to 70 AD in the destruction of the temple. The ones that are left is Judah, Benjamin, and Levites. There weren't that many Benjamites, but anyways, so that's Judah. Out they go in 70 AD, who end up going to Rome as prisoners or what have you. Judah goes to Spain. Benjamin goes to Germany in that area, as well as possibly some of the Levites. Here's what I think happened. I think that though the tribes were kicked out, and they were probably pretty upset over it, they still had that religion, even though they were worshiping other gods, so they still had the practices. I think that they were the ones who brought the Hebrew religion to Germany. And then I think they started mingling and intermixing with the, you know, with Gomer Magog line, which pretty much is Gomer Ashkenaz, right? And then entering in some more, bringing in the religion, some more tribes, the 12 tribes. So though their primary descent is Japheth, which is Caucasian, European, they still end up getting some of the 12 tribes in them. More than one. There's definitely 2, 3, maybe 4 of the 12 tribes that had mixed in. And remember that they only hook up with people of their own religion or that convert to their religion, which is what causes the ethno-religion. If you ever see their DNA, it's different because they keep recycling it. They're hooked up. They're like staying to people of that same ethnicity, of that same religion. So now you're getting more 12.
But basically, all they saying is like, if you hear, like, say, if you're a white person that converted to Judaism, you can go over there to the country and claim a piece of whatever. Bro, this shit is crazy. This shit's crazy. They've been running the same
That's
game.
the reason why.
As America as a country had what's called a black president for a time, even though white
Who
people
was our
were
first black
dominant.
president? It wasn't Barack.
Let me say it differently.
Obama's Jewish.
African American.
Obama's Jewish?
Just kidding.
No, Obama is African, so I wouldn't say black.
He's okay.
Because we're not African.
You guys
Who was
view
the
yourself
first
differently.
black
correct?
We're
president?
definitely different.
It's a general.
Who was
We
the
haven't
first?
had a black president.
You said there was a first black, a secret black president.
I didn't use secret.
No, I'm asking you.
That's what
I'm trying to
correct.
get you to define it because I'm fascinated by
black
the
sounds
story.
good for you guys, but for us to be ethnically correct, Obama has an African father and a white mother. So for us, he's not one of our people.
Right. You know, I agree with you there. I don't like the term black or white. I think like it's completely ethnically incorrect, and it like the world is so much more diverse.
I don't like the term
than
Jewish.
black
either.
and white. Well, two are colors and one is an ethnicity. So
Jewish is not an ethnicity though.
How about like
Jewish
Yehuda?
Wait, hold up.
Or
Jewish,
Judah.
Wait. Jewish is not an ethnicity.
Judah is a
Jewish,
family.
I didn't say Judah. I said Jewish.
Jewish is Judish.
Jewish is religion, because in Jewish,
But I
you're
can't
an
be a Jew,
Israelite by your mother.
Exactly.
Ethnically, you're an Israelite by your father. That's why y'all won't do the DNA test, because if y'all start taking that DNA test, you're gonna see a lot of y'all are not the Jews. We are the Jews.
I don't do
That's
the
why it's illegal.
I'll tell you, I personally don't do the DNA test
you
because
don't
I don't
wanna
want
get the
China
truth
to
either.
have my genetics.
Or-
But my
nah.
my parents took the
That is
DNA
not what-
test.
Wait, but that is
I
not
can tell
what-
you about my parents'
that is what-
DNA test.
That's not what Israel says.
Hold up. In my parents' DNA
Mm-hmm.
test, my mother says 100% Ashkenazi Jew. It's unbelievable.
Right.
They have an
100% white.
actual genetic.
Why aren't those allowed?
They have an actual genetic marker, and my mother is a Bas Kohen.
100%
which means that
white.
She's an Ashkenazi Jew from the tribe of descendant of Aaron the priest. My grandfather.
That don't even make sense.
It does, though.
No, it doesn't. How can
Well,
you
to you
be-
it doesn't because
how
you're not
can-
Jewish.
Because how can you be Ashkenaz and Shemitic?
I'll tell you. Because
Ashkenaz is a Japhetic tribe.
It's like
so. Think about what you. Hold on.
I'll
one
tell
second.
you. I'll
Wait,
explain it
before
to
you
you.
say. Before you answer, think about what you're saying. When you're talking about DNA, you're talking about genetic markers.
Yeah.
So if you marry the DNA of the science with the genetic marker, with the Bible, when the Lord divided the nations in Genesis 10 and 32,
to 70 nations.
when the Lord divided the nations,
Yes,
in
there's
Genesis
a kingdom
10,
of Ashkenaz.
When you talk, I know you're trying to distract.
Yeah, let him finish.
So
then
when the
you go
Lord
over that.
divided the nations in Genesis 10 and 32, the Japhetic line had their own line, so they would have their own genetic markers.
Yeah.
Shemitic line have their own lines. They would have their own genetic markers. So if you take a DNA test that says you go back to Ashkenaz, that's a different family line than the family line that the Israelites come from. So you can't be from the family line of Shem and the family line of Japheth genetically if you believe in the Bible, because the Lord divided them.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
Can I respond?
Yes.
So I'm not descended at all from Japhet. The
You said your
kingdom
mama
of,
is, though.
No, hold on. Listen to me. I'll explain. My line of Ashkenazi, when my claim of Ashkenazi is like the same of how I say I'm an American Jew. Like I put America before Jew. It was the kingdom that I'm living in, and before, and as a Jewish person. So it's like being an American Jew. But in the time that at the time that you know what I'm saying?
Who are the Jewish groups living in Israel? Ashkenazi Jews are not number one. According to a study published in 2018, Mizrahi Jews are the largest subgroup in Israel, constituting 44.9% of the total Jewish population. Mizrahi Jews mainly immigrated from the Middle East. Some, such as Syrian or Iraqi Jews, are genetically close to modern Levantines. Excluding those who immigrated from the former Soviet Union, Ashkenazi Jews represent 31.8% of the Jewish population. They descend from Jews who have lived in Europe for centuries and mixed with the local population. Most of them immigrated during the decades preceding and following the establishment of the State of Israel. Immigrants from former USSR countries comprised 12.4% of the population. In 2000, 36% of those immigrants either had only one Jewish grandparent or no Jewish ancestry at all. Ethiopian Jews are the smallest origin group at only 3%. This Jewish group, known as Beta Israel, is genetically identical to other Ethiopians. Click the link in bio and
You mean to tell me nobody told me this? I'm just finding out. You can't get a DNA test. it's against the law for you to get a DNA test? Don't you find that just a little suspicious? Just a little suspicious? I mean,
A lot suspicious.
they just sit at home. They don't have no TV shows like, you are not the father. You know what I mean? Y'all missing out. I mean, how do you know if she's been cheating or not? How do you know if you're the real Israelites?
Right.
Oh my word. No, it can't. No. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? OMG.
I knew my dad was a Jew, but I didn't know he was like a thoroughbred.
By now, you guys have probably all seen those TikToks where people post their Ancestry DNA results, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people are using my heritage to do so. And like, I hope people, I'm guessing people don't know this, but people should know this. My heritage is Israeli. It's Israeli. Stop using it. Don't give them your data. Oh my God. Please, don't. BDS, don't do it. Use Ancestry or something. Just not my heritage.
I'm about to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that, right? Now, you might ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel. Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel.
We Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua.
Who is we? No, really, who is we? You live in Israel, so I don't expect you to be able to provide genetic or ancestral receipts for your claims about us Jews, because those kinds of receipts are illegal in Israel without a court order and other special permissions. The Jerusalem Post explains such a thing cannot exist as kits sold directly to the public, going on to say that they have possible effects on subjects and their families. Furthermore, the national implications of these tests could hold or affect, nice grammar, Jerusalem Post, could hold or affect with Israel being a government-recognized Jewish state. Don't you just love when they say the quiet parts out loud? But since they won't let you get receipts for us Jews, I brought my own. Wow. So I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. And yet Israel still claims it's my homeland, which I could move to and become a citizen of under the ironically named...
I was today years old when I found out.
Ashkenaz, the eldest of the three sons of Gomer, the son of Japhet, and the name of a kingdom, referencing these same verses. Most likely it was the Scythian kingdom. Then after a few hundred years, they're lost from history. So they have zero to do with Israel, zero to do with Jewish people, zero to do with Ashkenazi Jews today. Zero. You say, well, where did the name Ashkenazi came from? So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false, zero truth to it. Just study the history, look into it, check the Bible dictionaries, encyclopedias.
Y'all, I need everybody who's been watching Jewish Americans have complete meltdowns over DNA tests, proving they ain't the original Hebrews to gather round real quick. Because I just witnessed the most beautiful moment of cosmic justice when these same people who've been gatekeeping Jewish identity for decades found out that black folks, the people they've been calling fake Jews, are actually carrying the genetic markers of the ancient Israelites. See, they've been so comfortable calling us black Hebrew Israelites like it was some kind of insult, acting like we was crazy for claiming our biblical heritage. But here's the thing that's got them reaching for their anxiety medication and calling emergency synagogue meetings. The DNA don't lie, and it's telling a story they don't want to hear. What's good, my beautiful black family? Welcome to Chronicles of Blacks, where we serve genetic truth with a side.
Man, that's crazy. We're gonna have to come up with
We've been trying to tell y'all.
Which people have the most ancient Jewish DNA? Let's see if you know. Middle Eastern Jews from places like Iraq and Syria come in second place. They often score 50 to 65% ancient Israelite DNA. Since these regions are close to Israel and already genetically similar, Jews there kept more of their original ancestry over time. At the bottom fifth place are Yemeni, Indian, and Ethiopian Jews. Many people think they are the original Jews, but that's not true genetically. Yemeni and Indian Jews usually score only 5 to 15% ancient Israelite ancestry. Ethiopian Jews often show little to none, likely because Judaism spread there through culture, not large migrations from Israel. Next at number 3 are European and Mountain Jews. This includes Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Jews from the Caucasus like Dagestan and Georgia. They usually score 20 to 40% ancient Israelite DNA due to more mixing with local populations over time. Second place goes to North African Jews, especially communities that existed before Sephardic Jews arrived from Spain. Jewish groups lived in North Africa for over 2,500 years, and they average 45 to 55% ancient Israelite ancestry. The group with the most ancient Israelite DNA are the Samaritans of Israel. They aren't considered Jewish.
I don't know about that one.
So why was Jeffrey Epstein buying all of these 23andMe DNA kits and sending them to Geneva or the UAE? I'm trying to figure out why there are thousands of mentions of these DNA kit purchases throughout the Epstein files. There are so many of these files where Epstein is sending DNA kits to people. Here's one where, hi Leslie, we've just used your email address to register Jabor's DNA test. And I've looked up, not really sure yet who that is. Here, Leslie is saying she's trying to register this at 23andMe, and it says that she doesn't know Jabor's last name, just that it starts with a Y, doesn't know his birth date, feels like she needs to put all of this stuff in. Here's a really bizarre one from Woody Allen, and it has gross stuff in it too, which I'm not really going to talk about, but it is this file number if you want to go look it up, where Woody says, your DNA kit was not helpful as the only question I was interested in was what year I was born, and they weren't able to test for that. I called them. That is really bizarre. Epstein says you need to review relatives. And I'm assuming this wouldn't be about Woody Allen. I'm assuming it would be about his adopted daughter wife, Sunyi.
Nice.
They can pinpoint it so accurately with dinosaur bones. I don't know why they can't find out on human bones. The relatives won't be able to help me. You're going on a stray path. I doubt any of my relatives have done the 23andMe kit or any DNA kit for that matter. And then Epstein says, should we have an election night party? And Woody Allen says, only if Hillary wins. Otherwise, we're not celebrating. There's a lot more correspondence of 23andMe kits being delivered to the New York Palace Hotel for Sultan bin Sulayem, and more 23andMe kits being sent to England in care of Fraser Curley for Aziza Al-Ahmadi. Jeffrey would like to send 2 genetic kits from 23andMe to Noam and Valeria Chomsky, please. We did the 23andMe test. Did you do it under the name of Sam Epstein? Cousin Larry. Obviously, it's not surprising that they were registering kits under fake names. Here's one. Hi, Sultan. We can register a kit for you as Rashid Epstein. Can you please let me know where we should send the kit once this is done? For Sheikh Mohammed. They were trying to send kits to the UAE, but 23andMe caught it and didn't allow it. But this email shows that they were taking tests from the UAE that had been invalidated and then swapping them into legitimate US-based 23andMe kits for processing. Was this part of it? Pause to read this one. Anyway, after going through all of these emails, I don't have a.
Let's see what we'll say, man. He smart. I was just thinking about something people I know with the subjective. I can't read that shit. You should have went in closer than that. Like, that's fucking crazy, bro. He was, what was he doing? Was he like, was the people over there, they couldn't take tests, so they'll come over here and he'll get the test for them, but he'll use a different name, so they named it to be in there, so they didn't get in trouble in their own country? Was that part of it?
I wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe. And so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
That's some crazy
DNA
shit.
tests are a scam. Because if you told me,
yeah, I'm done with that. That shit is crazy, bro. They sent in the lizard DNA and the shit came back. That shit is wild as shit, bro.
A Turk and an Israeli decided to do a 23andMe test. Who gets a heart attack first after the results come out?
So Ashkenazi Jews. The name Ashkenazi is actually from one of Noah's grandsons. He was the son of Japheth, Ashkenaz. And if you know where Japheth went and inhabited, it was up north, and that's basically where white people came from. The name Japheth actually means the father of Greece. So Japheth is the father of Europe, basically, of Europeans, and Ashkenaz was one of his children. And so Ashkenazi Jews are the Jews that are of that. They have some sort of mingling in that European realm. I forget completely the history of it, but you know, the Jews were dispersed. There was a diaspora, a Hebrew diaspora.
I'm gonna tell you this, right? This should be hella funny, because if you really look at it, why all the stories are the same? Why is there a pattern, the same pattern going on with all the stories that are ever being told? Like, okay, remember the little banking shit that happened, and it was like, you know, well, the Rutherford dude, he sent 4 of his sons to all these different places. You feel me? And they went to each territory of the world. All the stories are made the same. It's like they got the same writing program for every fucking story they come up with, and we just believe the shit and we accept it and go, oh, this is what happened. And that's why it sounds like it could be truthful, because all of them got the same writing pattern. All of them. Like, as you pay attention, watch. Like, even in the Bible where it talked about, you know, the Jews being split up and something, all the same writing patterns for a reason. It's a pattern to this shit. And long as they keep the pattern the same, we gonna be dumb enough to accept the shit. And I'm done with that. I'm done with that. This is bullshit. I'm gonna just tell you, all of this bullshit. They got me all the way fucked up. All this shit is bullshit. It's gonna stay being bullshit to keep us off what's really going on. You feel me? It's gonna always be bullshit. You feel me? It's period. It's all lies. It's always been a lie. And it's gonna stay being a lie to keep you confused. They put the lie within a lie, within another lie, on top of another lie, set on the side of a lie, inside of a lie, that's shining light on the lie, that's looking at the lie, that's in the darkness, and it's all lies. It's all bullshit. You feel me? And it's like, but we get so caught up in it, it's like, oh wow, this is it. No, the fuck it ain't. It ain't. None of it's interesting. They're still playing the same game on us, and we falling for it. I'm done with this. I'm done with this lie, bro. This shit gonna give me a motherfucking headache. That's all it did. It didn't show nothing. None of it was. It's all bullshit. Oh my god, bro, man, I'm so done with this shit. But I can't do nothing but laugh because we dive into these pools of ideas and we get caught and trapped in them. You feel me? Then we take it and we go give it to other people and we tell them the story. Like the one lady that was on the bus, you talking about Michelle Obama is a man. You feel me? Is it because you gotta go watch this video and you gotta go watch this and it's gonna give you all the evidence and it's like, bro, we buy into all this bullshit all the time. All the time. This the fuckery box. That's what we in. We in the fuckery box, and when we open it up, a gang of instruments come out pertaining to what you think you want to know or what you know is going to grab your attention. You feel me? It's going to grab your attention because it don't ever want you to know the real story. You will never know the real story. It's always covering the real story. It's going to always cover the real stories with lies after lies after lies after lies. And we're searching through lies after lies after lies and we're making them true. We'll make them true. Like, they don't even got to do the work. This is how dumb we are. They don't even got to do the work no more. They don't got to do the work no more. They don't got to do anything. They let us do it to ourselves. It's like they just sitting back watching, laughing at us, going, look at these motherfuckers. Oh, this is stupid. You feel me? They're stupid. Look what they're arguing. Look what they're talking about. Look, like, they're arguing over money. You feel me? Like, when you think about it, like I said this the other day, the real rich people, they don't fucking touch money. They can probably care less about money. Money is probably not even a thing. Because they always had it and they always had so much of it to where they can do whatever they want with it. This is what they always had. Us, we feel like it's something. We made it into something. You feel me? Because for the stuff, the fucking stuff, bro. Like the stuff, that comes and goes, that dies, that gets old. We want the money for the stuff. You feel me? I just need more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. Let me get more stuff. I need more money, so what? I can get more stuff. You feel me? So I can look like I'm doing something. So I can have a Lamborghini or something like that. A bunch of bullshit, bro. A bunch of bullshit. But this is the game that they play on us to the point to where we stepping on each other. We stepping on each other every day in order to keep this machine going. You feel me? And I talked about this a long time ago. The machine, the United States, China, Russia. These are all the machines. These are the factories that got, you feel me, split up. Like the shoe factory, you got Nike, you got Adidas, you got Puma, you got all these different types of shoes being made. Now, the machine of the United States, you got Colorado, California. You got, it's the same fucking thing, right? And each one of these states is kind of sometimes going against each other in order to try to be bigger than the other one. Like Nike is trying to be bigger than Puma. It's like, bro, if you pay attention to life or the human way, it's the same fucking program. It's the same pattern that's being played in every which way. The same pattern being overlaid with all different types of things to make it look like something. But it's the same pattern being done over and over again. That's why it's so easy to get caught up in it. That's why it's so easy. You feel me? But, oh my God. Because if you think about it, why ain't it just one type of car? Like, why ain't it like, you know, like one type of car? Why gotta be a hella different name brands of cars? Why ain't it just one type of shoe? Why ain't it just one type of person? Why ain't it just one type of people, one type of race? You feel me? Because even with that, it's playing out like our minds is mirroring what's going on out there. We're making what's going on out there. So we see ourselves as people, bam, different color, different shades. Every time we make something, what do it do? It multiplies itself. And when we came out with a shoe, it came out. The shoe did the same thing we did. It separated and it made itself many different types of shoes. Everything that we create that come from our mind that we put into reality does the same thing. It does the same split. How, you know, when baby is in the womb, the egg is in the womb, what does it do? It split into two. It split into three, it split into four. It makes all these different splits before it starts to actually become the entity that it's becoming. And then we don't understand that all these different things that we make and we come up with are becoming living entities, living beings that's existing in the spiritual way that we don't understand them, because mind is spirit. So they're all existing right here and they're becoming a living entity. And then we begin to be part of that living entity, and we keep that entity alive and doing what it's doing. You feel me? Like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, but I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. This was a lot. I thank y'all for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. If you ain't sub up, because yeah, it's more to come. More to come. You feel me? And I'll peace out. Y'all have a good day. I'm gonna have a beautiful day as always.